Hello everybody, so welcome to another video. So this is kind of another day in the life type of a video that I recorded. Honestly, I did this maybe like a month or two back, so a little bit of old footage, but you know what, this is how it's gonna be. So I wanted to come on here and answer some very commonly asked foster care type of questions. I get a handful of DMs weekly from just people that I know, people that I don't know, people that randomly found my YouTube or Instagram that know that I'm a foster mom, and they want to know more. And so here I am to just answer some of those questions for you guys all in one spot. So the first question that I get is just why, and yeah, there's kind of a lot of reasons why. We are Christian, and we believe that God has adopted us into His family, and so therefore we have a just kind of like a calling to adopt others into our family as well. And so we just feel like it's a precious gift that we've been given that we want to extend to these precious children too. And so that's kind of like the short answer for that. We go to a church with a few other families that also foster and or adopt as well. And so we were not the only ones in our circle. We were not new to this. And so it's definitely been something that's been around. And I could definitely understand how that would be pretty intimidating if you've never been around it or would potentially like be the first ones to do it out of your friends or family. I totally get that. But if that's you, don't let that stop you. I think your friends and family would be so excited to come alongside you and partner with you. And just like learn about the process too. So I kind of shared a little bit about this, I believe, already on YouTube, and my Instagram friends and family know this already. But if this is maybe your first time watching, we also had a very difficult time getting pregnant. This took us 3.5 years. And so we knew even when we were dating that was a potential for me. And we talked about adoption and foster care being a part of our story one day. And so we just knew kind of from the get-go that would be in our lives eventually. We just didn't know the order that God had it in plan for us. We didn't know if maybe we would be able to get pregnant sooner and then adopt later, or adopt sooner and get pregnant later. And so, we just we started trying, and it was not working. And we just decided, well, okay, we'll keep trying, but we will also start foster care papers and, kind of see which one wins the race, if that makes sense. And obviously adoption won twice. And then we were able to get pregnant with Franklin, which was such a miracle and a blessing. All three of them really have been. And so I can go into more detail in that whole story in another video, but pretty much it was due to infertility, for the reason being getting into it, I guess, so soon. However, we knew we were going to eventually, as I said. But speaking about getting licensed to become a foster parent, we decided to go through a private Christian agency near us. And this, I think, is starting to be a little bit more of the norm rather than going through only the county. And I would highly suggest to go through an agency. They are free. At least the one that we're going through is free. I'm pretty sure that should also be the norm, that it is a free service. So that's great, and it's not, any anything crazy that you have to fork out for this, but they truly come alongside you, and the agency is going to be the one that's doing more of the everyday life with you, walking you through every piece of paperwork, making sure that you're good, just checking in on you way more than the county. And this isn't necessarily the county's fault. I mean, they're so swamped. Like, they have so many other children that they are trying to, place and worry about and all the things. And so, of course, the county can't do very many visits and do very much check-in, unfortunately. And so that's where the private agency comes in and kind of supplements. And we have loved that. And even with the private agency, we don't feel like they've been coming into our house all the time or anything like that. We have about 3 visits from the private agency and 1 visit from the county a month. So total, that's about 4 a month, which, I mean, if you're not used to having people in your house, I guess maybe that's a lot, but it really doesn't feel like too much. Okay, so then let me get back to the actual getting licensed, like at the very beginning. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of waiting, background checks. A lot of the waiting is like, oh, I have to wait for the class that I'm, still needing, or I have to wait for them to get back to me on what else I need, that kind of thing. I think that it took us 6 months, if I remember correctly. I remember starting in the summertime, July, August, September, October, December. Yeah, okay, 5 months. Took 5 months. We were done by December, and then we actually ended up getting placed with Malachi 2 weeks later, something. I think like 2 to 3 weeks later. It was something really crazy like that. So yeah, for us, it took 5 months. I was a stay-at-home wife at the time, so I was not even working. So at the exact moment that I got an email saying, hey, fill this out, I was literally able to be like, this is my top priority. I'm running to print this out and I'm sending it right back to you. They probably thought I was crazy. They probably thought this is the fastest anybody's ever done this before. But hey, it worked. It got us to where we are today. So I was able to get things in a timely manner, but it still took roughly 5 months. That was during, COVID. So what was that? It was 2021. So, that was a different time. It's been a few years since then. The home study is what I get a lot of questions on. I actually have a different YouTube video on this. So if you want more on the home study, I will link that above, but it is not scary. Do not worry about the home study. Even if you are lacking in something, need something, need to change something, at least in our experience, they were so kind and willing to, just get a picture in an email later showing that you fixed it. Or, I think that's what we did. We didn't have a crib. We had like a twin size bed. That was our mistake. I mean, we wanted to have kids that were, I think 0 to 5 is what we said, or 1 to 5. I can't even remember what we said. I think 0 to 5. And so we didn't have a crib, thinking, because, we were not parents. We didn't know that a 1-year-old's going to be still in a crib for quite a while. So they said, get a crib and then text us that you have it. And it does not have to be assembled. That was just our little experience. So don't be afraid of that. So all in all, I would definitely recommend going with an agency. You don't have to do a faith-based one, but you absolutely can. And even with the faith-based ones, I don't think that you have to necessarily be following a faith. We're just Christian, but we wanted to go with a Christian agency because we felt like we would be best supported that way. So get one that you align with on their values and feel like you would be best supported. I think that would be my advice. And then another question that we typically get is what ages we told the agency and do they respect your wishes? So we told them that we wanted, I think I said it earlier, I think we said 0 to 1. And as far as we know, they did respect our wishes for those ages. They never called us for anything outside of those parameters. And then the other question, this is like probably the biggest question we get, is matching versus emergency placing. I don't know if every single state does it this way. From my understanding, I think they do. Maybe they call it something a little bit different, but from my understanding, you can be placed on a list to only be called for children that are more likely to become adopted rather than an emergency placement where you're getting a call in the middle of the night because this child was, mom or dad maybe were incarcerated and they need a foster parent right now. So those two things are a little bit different. We were matched with both of our kids, and so that's our only experience. We did ask our agency to only call us for matches. However, there's a big caveat because a lot of those matches actually still end up being reunified, which is great and sad, of course, in those situations. Hard and sad because the poor foster family probably thought one thing and then it didn't end up happening. So that's a little bit rough, when they maybe like misname a certain case to be matching when it should have really been emergency placing. I have another video on that for Olive. We actually thought that was going to happen to her because they called her case a matching case when it probably should have been emergency. However, she's still getting adopted, so all is okay. But just know that no matter what, even if you say, I would only like to be matched with a child that is going to need a home to be adopted in, just know you have to still hold that lightly. You can't just bank on it because things come up. Different family members, mom or dad might get clean or out of jail or, start on a really good path, and then great for them. Like they worked really hard to get their children back under their roof. And I applaud that. And it just makes me sad to think that could be interrupted. And so anyways, that's kind of the difference. Hopefully I explained those two okay. But yes, we did ask our agency to respect that wish, that we only wanted to get called for those highly possible chances of being adopted. I've been called out on social media for this, saying, how could you not ask for emergency too? But, it was just the time and the season for us. That's what we felt was right for us. A lot of people feel like emergency placement is right for them, and that is great. I think it is completely up to the resource and or foster family. So yeah, let's just leave that up to the parents because ultimately it is their decision on what they feel comfortable bringing in, what type of cases they feel like bringing into their homes. Okay, I think I have one more question, and it is, are we done fostering? Is this it? So currently we are almost through fostering Olive, our second girl, or our first girl, but our second child. She will hopefully be adopted by the end of this year, but are we done? That's kind of a hard one. We are pretty much in the thick of it with children. We have a 3-year-old, a 19-month-old, and an 11-month-old currently. So everybody's already about to age up. So we're about to have a 4-year-old, 2-year-old, 1-year-old. So that's super young and very close together. I think, and I mean, my husband and I have talked about this just a little bit. I think if one of our children had a biological sibling that came along later on, a year, couple years, few years down the road, I think that would be something that we would consider more so than just getting recertified. So we'll become inactive after this year, after the adoption. But then after that, as far as like opening our home to more kids, I don't think quite yet. I don't see it happening anytime soon. Like I said, unless there was like a sibling that needed a home and both mom and dad couldn't do it. Obviously, that's why they would be in foster care, I guess. But so yeah, I think that answers that question. Let me just leave you with just 2 little statistics, 2 huge ones actually. It's quite sad. So in California, where I live, there are currently 60,000 children in foster care. So that is an astounding number. That is wild. And I'm getting 2 different numbers online, but one number says that in the entire US, there's 437,000 children in foster care out of the whole US. So that is sad. I have read in quite a few different places that if every single church were to come together in the US and basically, I don't know how they did it, where it was like per church or per something, per family. I think it was per church. We could completely like abolish, is that the right word? Like completely diminish all of the foster care need in the entire US if all the churches came together and were able to help out these children. And so I think that's crazy, like that those 2 numbers go hand in hand, and that's exactly what God calls us to do, to take care of the orphans and the widows. And I think it's our calling, whether or not we like it. I think that is the calling. However invested you can be, right? Because some of us want to and can't. Some of us want to and, maybe don't have our own home or live with other people or, whatever it may be. But there's ways that you can get involved. But anyhow, okay, so enough of that. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably already want to and are thinking about it, or maybe you already do. And that is also amazing as well. Okay, well, anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully this wasn't weird watching me do random house things while talking about foster care. I am just trying to get some videos out as best as I can. And currently my sweet husband is taking all 3 kids out on a walk. And so I'm able to do a quick little voiceover, which is lovely. But anyways, you guys, if there are more topics, comments, questions that I did not address in this video, please leave them down below. And also, if I messed up on something, please just give me a little bit of grace. Like I said, I'm kind of trying to cram this into a quick walk that my family is currently on right now. And I am at home trying to do this video in some peace and quiet. So if I maybe said something weird or fast or whatever, I don't know, just give me some grace. But anyhow, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.